Hi, my name is Calvin Coyle. Myself and my wife, Ashley, have been working with the team at the HMO Group now for the better part of about 2 years, all the way through the design, purchase of the land, the build, the construction, and then, of course, the HMO retrofit, and then into now it being very successfully tenanted, cash flow positive property, really set and forget. We just get an email with the check every week, which is amazing. And so it's been quite a journey. But it was a really interesting process that we went through with the team. We first wanted to get into property and invest into property, but naturally our concern, which was for same as everybody else, which is that you want to get into a property, and if you're going to invest in it, you're worried about the cash flow of that. I'm not a big fan of negative gearing. I'd rather not have to be chipping in money myself. I'd rather it sort of pay for itself or wash its own face. And Neil and Joe shared with us a strategy that they've been using very successfully with clients around the HMO, housing for multiple occupants. And that was quite controversial, certainly in our immediate circle. And people didn't understand it, they didn't get it. Maybe the concern they had was that it would be similar to sort of student accommodation, which can be quite difficult. But this was very different to that. And once we understood the model, it was the most obvious choice. Why would we have done anything else? Two things are important to that. One is obviously you get a huge upside in terms of financial return. That takes what would previously be a negatively geared property and makes it a positively geared property. So that was a huge win. Not really at any materially different cost of construction or the fit out, but that's pretty minor. The other part though was from a social housing perspective. My wife and I, we run a business that endeavors to make as much of an impact in the world as we possibly can. So to be able to hit two birds with one stone just made good business and emotional sense, and it's probably one of the best decisions that we've made in our investment journey. I would absolutely recommend the product of a HMO and also the team, Neil and Joe and the team, to anybody, and we have done so many, many times over. I think it is a fantastic investment. I think it's an ongoing issue that the government is really not equipped to deal with in terms of the population crisis. I think there will always be a market for this type of housing in the world as we grow and expand, and as we have a major issue, not just in housing affordability, but also loneliness and isolation. I think huge issues. So I think this does a lot of really good things in not just an economic reality, but also an emotional reality in our culture and society. In terms of if anyone's sitting on the fence through the process, I think that you've got to be able to look at this opportunity through neutral eyes. Naturally, we are conditioned to think about property investment or any investment from that nature as a very specific thing that follows a traditional path. However, everyone that goes through that traditional path has the exact same problems. All the same cost to build the house. It's all the same cost to get a tenant into the house, but you don't get as much return because you don't have as many tenants. So if you could have more tenants, one of the concerns that one of my family members had raised was around, occupancy and retention. If you lose a tenant, typically you lose 100% of your income. If you lose a tenant in the HMO strategy, you lose 1/20th or 20% or 25% of your income. I'd rather have the risk of losing a tenant and losing 25% of my income than losing 100% of my income, right? That maths. And then in terms of the wear and tear on the property and other things as well as part of that, we set up the house in a way that could be used for dual purpose, whether that be used for HMO in the future or as a large family home. And we thought that was a really great strategy for us that allowed us to blend both models. So, in my case, I would say, it's very difficult to justify not doing a HMO strategy, given all the way the numbers stack, and certainly given the financial reality. I've slept well at night. I've literally not thought about our investment property since we signed with HMO, because every week without fail we get the report, every week we get the check, every week it's positive cash flow. The peace of mind, I can't stress to you enough, the peace of mind that you have, knowing that your mortgage is fully covered by income from your tenants, is just, I couldn't imagine the alternative, which is that every week things like I've got to try and pay the mortgage this week. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's good business to do good by other people, and that makes good business sense, and it's certainly been the case here for us as well. So knowing that we are making a financial return that's above market, that's amazing for us. Knowing that we've got an asset that's an appreciating capital asset, that's amazing for us. And knowing that at the same time we're able to help alleviate the issue for even a few people that are struggling to get into housing, for affordable housing, to make that happen. That's a huge win for us as well. It's a win-win-win. And knowing that it's managed by a capable and competent team as well, and we're able to support Neil and Joe and the vision and mission that they've got as well, that's also a win. So wins across the board. Can't celebrate that enough.